Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jackie Arthur, she, her, and hers, and I will be your worship associate this morning. We're delighted to have you with us today, whether online or here in person. It's great to be with you. No matter how you look, who you love, we're glad you're here. Even if you don't know the difference between a groundhog and a hedgehog, we appreciate you. We have an abundance of love and compassion here at UU. We're happy to share that with you. This morning, we will be hearing from our very own David Brown. If you have seen the movie Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray, you will be all set for today's message. I hope you'll join the conversation. As David lights our chalice, consider these words by Japanese writer Haruki Murakami. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive, but you won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, whether you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm is all about. Many today feel they are walking through a storm. Maybe work together to come out of the storm stronger and more loving. Sam is going to come up now and introduce our Share the Plate speaker.
Hey everybody.
Hi.
All right. Every month here at the UUFF, we choose a group in our area that we believe is doing important work, and we share the plate, meaning we take an offering for them. We recognize that we are not the only organization in Fredericksburg that is seeking to make a difference. We recognize that together, we can do so much more than acting alone. Today's Share the Plate is going to the Fredericksburg Area Food Bank. I'm going to ask the ushers to come now and collect an offering. Every dollar you give in this offering will go to the food bank. A representative from the food bank could not be here, but they wrote this to you. Thank you so much for your generous gifts to Fredericksburg Regional Food Bank. Your support is already at work helping families, children, and seniors facing hunger throughout the central Rappahannock River region. Right now, too many of our neighbors are struggling to put food on the table. But because of your generosity, someone in our community will go to bed tonight with a full stomach and a little more hope for tomorrow. Every $1 you give helps provide 2 nutritious meals, and that means your support truly multiplies to meet urgent needs. Your compassion makes a real lasting difference. We're so grateful to have your congregation as a partner in our mission to end hunger. Thank you for all you do for families in the central Rappahannock River region that are experiencing hunger. Gratefully, the Fredericksburg Regional Food Bank. Our ushers will collect now, and again, everything given in these baskets will go to the food bank.
I have a testimony.
Please give generously as David comes to sing for us.
Okay, real quick testimony here.
Our little church feeds 100 people every single month at the community meals. We do that because we are allowed to collect food from the food bank. Otherwise, it wouldn't be done. And we also, because we're now community partners with the food bank, we're able to provide some small assistance to members and of our own fellowship. So the food bank is a vital organization.
Yes, so please give generously. One man come in the name of love. One man come and go. One man come and he to justify. One man to overthrow. In the name of love. What more in the name of love? In the name of love. What more in the name of love? One man called on a barbed wire fence. with a kiss. In the name of love, what more in the name of love? In the name of love, what more in the name of love? Early evening, April 4th, shots rang out on the Memphis sky. Free at last, they took your life. They could not take your pride. In the name of love, what more in the name of love? In the name of love, what more in the name of love? In the name of love, what more in the name of love? In the name of love, what more in the name of love?
Please stand and join us if you're able for our sing-along today, Blue Boat Home.
Low below me, I feel no ocean, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my triumphant heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbored or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my new home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting north with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens, and our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, brave the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbored or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. All right, that's the UU theme song. There you go. Thank you very much. How many have seen the movie? How many have seen the movie? All right, well then you will love this song.
They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out until we grow.
Well, I don't know if all that's true. You got me, and baby, I got you. Baby, I got you, babe.
I got you, babe.
any school-age children, school-age people, we invite you to go. Right out these doors. 1, 2, 3, go. Boom, here they go. They're just flooding out. Okay, there we go. Groundhog Day. This is a little bit early, I admit, but this is supposed to happen on February the 1st, but we had to rearrange some speaking schedules, so here you go. You're going to get it just a little bit early. I invite you to join me online if you would like, menti.com. You can use your phone to scan that QR code, or you can just go to menti.com. If you're online, I welcome you to take up another screen. Go to menti.com. And the session number is 44264030. I've got that for you right here up front. You got an old school over there. It's also on the screen, but I know it's very, very small. Menti.com, 44264030. Well, in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to say Happy Groundhog Day. Oh, but before I get started, we have a reading. Forgive me, yes.
Sort of the David and Rebecca show today. Sometimes, in the midst of every difficult and everyday awkward way, you try to make your onward way. Sometimes sitting down at the edge of everything that has made you too tired to take another step. There's that caught sight, now here, now gone, of a half-imagined wavering light just among the trees. Just a gleam or a wisp of white gold in the dying sun. A strange kind of beckoning, an ache outlined so intimately as it is, against all of the doings you have labeled so lovingly as sins. The place you should have gone all those years ago, still it seems willing to invite you again. Simpler this time, not too far away, touchable now and within reach. Just a single step on the other side of what you always come to call, in the end, forgiveness.
All right, February 2nd is Groundhog Day. Do you know the history of Groundhog Day? I had to look this up. It's based on an older European midwinter tradition that marked the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. The core idea in using an animal behavior to predict the rest of winter evolved from ancient European customs tied to Candlemas, which is on February the 2nd, when people watched weather signs to guess how long winter would last. Well, German-speaking communities brought a version of this to North America, substituting a groundhog or a woodchuck, same thing, for European animals like hedgehogs, and keeping the belief that a sunny day and a visible shadow meant more winter ahead. In the late 19th century, residents of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania formalized this custom around a specific animal, Punxsutawney Phil, and they began holding an annual February 2nd celebration at Gobbler's Knob. A local groundhog club helped turn the event into a civic tradition and a tourist draw, keeping records of Phil's yearly predictions and promoting the town as the groundhog capital. Yeah, so how many have seen the movie Groundhog Day? Yeah. Classic. Bill Murray, Andy McDowell. It came out in 1993. That just makes me old to say that. I honestly think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I try to watch it every February, much to Rebecca's chagrin. The film helped turn the local Punxsutawney ceremony into a nationally and internationally recognized event, with Bill Murray's character, Phil, even appearing on major TV programs in the years after the movie's release. Groundhog Day has since entered everyday language as shorthand for any situation that feels endlessly repetitive or stuck, showing how a small town ritual can evolve into a metaphor for what modern researchers call an existential repetition. Well, how about you? Have you ever felt like you were living life on a hamster wheel? Do you ever feel like life is meaningless, that no matter what you do, it just doesn't really matter? I mean, let's step back a moment and consider, what does meaning even mean? Bill Clinton famously said, it all depends on what the meaning of is. But really, what is meaning? It seems that every human being on earth is looking for meaning, or cares about meaning. But why? I mean, is this some kind of Jedi mind trick, a Buddhist koan, the ultimate riddle of the Riddler? I think I look for meaning associated with my choices and actions, because I don't want to think about my life as being just a random series of molecules bumping into one another, which ultimately dissolves into a new random series of molecules bumping into one another. And yet, from the view of materialists and scientists, this is ultimately what's happening, right? I mean, how far outside of our atmosphere do we have to go before you see how self-absorbed we human beings are? If there is life in some far-flung galaxy, does anything we say or do mean anything to them? I mean, really, how could it? I do think there's a little more to life than what the materialists of the world can measure, but I'm not willing to stray too far from them. I mean, otherwise we just end up in La La Land. So when we're talking about meaning, we have to admit that what we mean by meaning is from a certain perspective. Meaning can only be found in relationship to other things. There is no meaning that exists apart from the person seeking the meaning. Even if we've read Rick Warren's book, Purpose-Driven Life, and we buy into the idea that there's a personal God somewhere out there that has a plan for your life, and that meaning comes from this belief, that meaning right there it comes from the belief of that relationship between you and God. The meaning you find comes from this relationship and doing what God wants you to do. If there is no you and there is no God, there's no meaning. See, meaning is built on relationship. Likewise, for those of us who skew a little more humanist, meaning also comes from the relationship between things. If you were the one and only human being here on this earth, the idea of your life having meaning for another person would be nonsensical, right? Though obviously you could find meaning in your relationship to the rest of the life on the planet, or maybe a coconut shell. I don't know. Thank you. Meaning comes from relationship, from the interactions between living entities. And this is the point of the Groundhog Day movie. Bill Murray plays a weatherman named Phil, who is assigned the job of covering the Groundhog Day celebration in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. He feels this assignment is beneath him, and he basically tries to do the bare minimum in his coverage of the event. But what happens is, he and his team get snowed into Punxsutawney, and they have to spend the night there instead of heading back to town. And when Phil wakes up the next morning, he hears this lovely song, and he discovers that he is reliving Groundhog Day again and again. This just happens over and over and over. And Phil first responds to the loop with, gloomy sex, crime, and recklessness. He's trying to exploit the world without consequences. But those pleasures quickly feel empty, and they deepen his depression, showing that indulgence without meaning, without relationship, cannot sustain our lives. Phil is stuck because he's arrogant, he's selfish, he's ungrateful, and the loop forces him to confront who he really is. His transformation begins only when he honestly admits his situation to Rita, his producer, played by Andie MacDowell, and he drops trying to manipulate. The key lesson is that without consequences, nothing matters. So what we do to others defines us. When Phil decides to treat each repeated day as morally real, saving people, doing good, learning lessons, learning skills, his existence gains purpose, even
even though the calendar never advances. Phil uses his infinite repetition to cultivate mastery in piano, ice sculpting, languages, social awareness, turning wasted time into deliberate practice. Interestingly, the film links inner change with this outer skill building. His artistic and musical competence mirrors his ethical development into a more virtuous person. And of course, this is a rom-com, and when Andie MacDowell is your co-star, you're going to fall in love, right? So Phil's early attempts to win Rita rely on manipulation. Remember trivia about her and scripting perfect dates, which always fail. It's only when he stops trying to get her and instead lives a day of natural, uncalculated kindness does she freely love him and who he's become. One interesting twist comes when Phil repeatedly tries to save an older homeless man. It poignantly shows that even with godlike knowledge, some suffering and death cannot be avoided. But by accepting these limits, Phil shifts from playing God to serving others, focusing on what he can actually do in each moment to make it better. Ultimately, the central theme is the possibility of redemption. That even someone petty and cruel can, over time, become generous and self-giving. Not unlike Ebenezer Scrooge or the Grinch. But that change requires going through despair. Letting that old self die and slowly building a new character through countless small choices. So here's the question. Who are you in this movie? Who are you in this movie? If I'm honest, I'm probably more like Larry, the goofy cameraman played by Chris Elliott. He thinks he's much cooler than he is. He thinks he actually has a shot at Andie MacDowell's heart. He's the brunt of most of Bill Murray's jokes. Yeah, that's pretty much me right there. But if you happen to find yourself relating to Bill Murray's character, Phil, you feel like you're just wasting your life, that the things required of you each day are beneath you, feeling like life owes you something more, somehow thinking that life should be different than it is, well, I've got some good news for you. Bill Murray ends up getting Andie MacDowell, so just hang in there. No, that's not the message this morning. The poet David White, whose poem you heard earlier that Rebecca read, talks about this dissonance we often feel. He says it's important for us to be able to look at the way we might feel distant from the life we want to live. And the way that sense of distance actually calls to us. This life that we want beckons us. He points out the curious fact that we both feel distant from what we want, and yet at the same time it seems to be part of us, close to us. And he says we need to hold that closeness and that distance together in our minds. And when we do, it brings us to a much deeper conversation, one without words, but one from which a new and real ability will grow and can be heard in this world. The bottom line is it doesn't do any good to ignore these feelings of discontent, which is what it seems to me most of the world is doing. Just getting through. Those feelings are calling to us. They're calling to us to sit down and have a conversation. I mean, what is it that you want? Why is your life unsatisfactory? What is it that you think will actually make your life happy? These aren't easy questions. You know, a child who's crying in the supermarket because they want a candy bar in the checkout lane thinks that this candy bar will make them happy. But when you and I start to ask our lives about why we feel disappointed and look deep inside of ourselves, the answer is not nearly so obvious. In a large part, the way you feel today is based on what you did yesterday. Now that seems obvious to say, but in the midst of life, we often forget that what we do today matters.
We can use today to advance our own selfish interests, or we can use today to grow. We can care for ourselves only, or we can care for others as well. And what we choose today will affect how we feel tomorrow. Now, not every day is going to be what we want it to be. Sometimes difficult things and scary things happen, but every day is still a gift. To get up, to see the sun, to have the privilege of breathing air, of being alive, is truly a gift. The question is, do you see it as a gift? Is life something you have to do, or is life something you get to do? Here's another truth that we don't like to admit very often. Seeking change from any given set of circumstances might be futile. Sometimes we just have to accept each day with all of its problems and simply be grateful that we're in it, that we even have a life, that there's a potential for good. Even if we can't make every day, or really any day, exactly what we want it to be, it's still worth living. And that is good. In AA, we have a saying, I'm not much, but I'm all that I think about. And this is true for all of us. We are the center of our universe. The life we live is absolutely 100% composed inside our heads. This is indisputable. Every sensation you have, every feeling, every sight, every sound, every thought, it all happens inside your head. Our minds literally interpret everything. There is no experience without an interpretation from your mind. So, if you're having a bad day, guess what? It's because that's the way you are interpreting the stimulus in your life. Your response to any given situation is just that. It's yours. You own it. In AA's big book, Bill W. writes, it's a spiritual axiom that every time we are disturbed, no matter what the cause, there's something wrong with us. This I have found to be true. The wrong is within me, within my mind. And yes, there is physical pain in this life. If I slam a hammer down on my finger, it's gonna hurt. I don't decide that it hurts, right? But the hurt, that pain, is inside me. It is literally a response to a circumstance. But as the Buddha rightly pointed out some 2,500 years ago, almost every time I experience some physical pain, I add to that pain with my thoughts. The Buddha uses the analogy of an arrow piercing us. And then we take another arrow and try to jab it in to get that wound and try and get that other first arrow out. If I have a headache, rarely do I just have a headache. I also worry about this headache, how it's going to affect my day. I fret about how long it's lasted or how intense it is. I curse at myself for not having the right medicine on hand. Or I curse the bottle of gin that I drank last night, which is causing this headache. I imagine what life will be like in the future with this headache, and it's never a good forecast. My mind makes the headache 10 times worse than the pain in my head. And let's be honest, most of the pain that we feel on a day-to-day basis is not physical, is it? It's completely mental. It's all about tomorrow. 99.99% of the pain and stress I feel today is about tomorrow. Is that true for you? I worry what you will think about the sermon. I fret about the weight I'm gaining and what people are going to think about me. I'm genuinely concerned about how my life will end. Will I have enough money? Will I suffer some disease where my mind slowly dissolves into craziness? My God, has it already started dissolving? This person is angry with me. How can that possibly end well? It's going to be horrible. On and on, my mind goes. Mark Twain famously quipped, "I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened." Man, what's a weatherman to do? Even with the groundhog ceremony in Punxsutawney, we're looking at the future, right? How many more days of winter will there be? Can you see how this is just poking yourself with another arrow? Oh, this winter's going to be so terrible. How much longer is it going to last? If it only would be spring, then I could be happy. When will life finally go my way? I can't possibly be happy today when the weather's like this. Here's one more inconvenient truth. If you're not happy today, you're not going to be happy tomorrow. Real happiness is not based on your circumstances. If your happiness is based on your circumstance, you will never be happy. Even if you get what you wished for, it's not going to last. Life changes. Circumstance change. If you cannot find happiness within yourself, you will never be happy. Marcus Aurelius wrote a fantastic book called Meditations, which was a collection of his thoughts about how to live life to the fullest. He was a Stoic, which is a philosophy based on the idea that we are responsible for ourselves. It recognizes that many things in life are beyond our control, but that we can control our thoughts, our responses to life. He wrote, "Perfection of character, in other words, a happy life, is this: to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense." Wow, how do we combat the frenzy we feel? If we want to feel more peace tomorrow, we need to do certain things today. We need to be intentional. We need to understand cause and effect. We need to delay gratification sometimes in order to obtain a better gratification later. How do we combat apathy that sometimes creeps in, thinking that our lives don't matter, nothing we ever do will make a difference? I mean, it's insidious. And it can cause us to end up in a black hole of apathy and depression. Well, Jesus said we have to lose our life in order to find it. We have to give our lives to others. We have to serve others. We have to love others. We have to be in relationship with others in order to find happiness in this life. Seth Godin likes to say that if the story you're telling yourself isn't working, if it isn't making you happy, try a different story. Finally, how do we live generously without pretense? We have to accept that ultimately we're not in control. There is something, call it God, call it the universe, call it life. There is something else that is moving through us. Our DNA, our environment, all the millions of events that have happened throughout history, and even before, they brought us to today. And all of those have been controlled by something that is not you. But now we think, we'll just take over from here, right? Be in control. No, we can't. We are in this thing together. You, me, God, the universe. It's insane to think that things should go our way. To think that we even have a slight clue as to what could be best. Living life without pretense means being right-sized. Understanding our place in the grand scheme of things. Perhaps even enjoying the fact that we're not in control. Is that something you could try this week? When you begin to be anxious or frustrated that things aren't the way they should be, can you take a deep breath and let go of being the master of the universe? I mean, if it's not your circus and it's not your monkeys, you can let go of needing to make sure that it works out okay. You can't fix it. You can't control it. You are not in charge. But you can participate. Ultimately, the outcome isn't in your hands. So why not sit back and enjoy the show? What do you think? We've got a couple of wireless mics we're going to pass around. What do you think about all this? All right, Patrick's ready to go. Right down here, Patrick. Couple more for you. There we go.
I just wanted to pick up on the business of how your mindset and the stories we tell ourselves affects our health.
Yes.
That, you know, to put it in medicalese, it's called somatic symptom disorder, which is a very under-recognized condition where people make themselves sick or exaggerate their sicknesses because of what their brain is telling them.
Yeah.
And it's a very real issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why placebos work. Right? The power of our minds. Who else?
I learned something similar to like this in supervisor training of all things. And the example was your assistant says, no, I really don't want to do that. I think we should do it this way. And in your mind, you're saying, oh God, this troublesome employee. And it's not a troublesome employee because you're making it a troublesome employee.
Yes.
It's just a thing.
Yes.
So what I try and do is I call it going into Spock mode and removing my emotional thing so that when my computer doesn't work, I just sort of step back and say, it's just a thing. It depends on how I react to this, if this is going to be a problem or not.
Yeah. Excellent.
One thing that really hit home within the last couple of weeks, I was listening to a podcast, and they said procrastination just delays success.
Yeah. Absolutely. Duh.
I can't say that I followed all that, David, but it did come to mind, the world needs leaders, it needs people who sets a goal, puts forth the effort to reach the goal. So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, good.
I wonder if our whole life is just a battle of our control of our minds. Is I get a headache and I think, in my head, I think, oh my God, it's brain cancer, I'm gonna die.
Right.
But that doesn't come out of my mouth.
Right.
I say I'll be fine, and generally I am fine. So
Yeah.
it's just a constant battle with the monkey in my brain.
Yes.
Hello,
Yeah,
I'm
go
Paula
ahead.
Barnes. Oh,
Go.
yeah, it's me. I'm a worrier. I'm always worrying, and I had to do laundry, but I had to go to the cardiologist. And I found a pair of jeans that fit, and they were really, really, really faded, and I thought, oh. So anyway, I walked in and then sat on the little thing and finally waited for the doctor. The doctor came in. I complimented her on her complexion was so beautiful. And then when I'm sitting there and looking, faded jeans must be in style because she had on the most faded jeans. And it was like this lesson, just let it go. Oh, my heart's fine.
All right, Jackie, right on.
I have a calendar that I pull off little quotes every morning, and as I'm paraphrasing Agatha Christie, she said, even though my life has been agonizingly tormented and sorrowfulness has pervaded my whole being, I know for sure that life is wonderful, and I have been blessed to be able to get up every morning and breathe air and be alive.
Eckhart Tolle wrote a book a while back called The Power of Now. And the basic idea was, when you're feeling stress, when you're feeling worried, when you're feeling anxious, ask yourself, is everything okay right now? In other words, are you worried about the future? Because if you are, then you can stop, right? But half the battle is just recognizing that there's this inner dialogue happening inside of you that's causing this problem, right? If things are okay right now, then be okay. Anybody else? Yeah, Krista?
I just counterpoint, like, we're talking about these things, but like, isn't our brain so cool? Like,
It's
you
amazing.
can like make all, like, people convince themselves they're pregnant and like grow a belly and go through labor and they're not. Like, it's just like from, you know, like our brains are just so cool and like it can be inconvenient, sure, but like it's super neat.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
All right, yeah, in the back.
So I work part-time, but I'm mostly stay-at-home mom. And anyone who's ever been a stay-at-home mom knows it is Groundhog Day. Like every single day is exactly the same. You wake up, same frustration. You wake up, they keep hurting themselves. I don't know why, but all they want to do is die. And my job is to make it not happen. So I find myself laying on the floor staring at the ceiling and just thinking, how many hours have I spent on my phone today? How many doom scrolls have I done? And how do I stop that? Because I'm missing what I wanted, what's right in front of me.
Yeah.
And all I keep thinking is, these girls are everything I ever wanted. They're everything I ever wanted to be. It's all I ever wanted was to be a mom to these little girls. They're perfect beings, and I get the chance to watch them grow every day, but I'm so stuck in the Groundhog Day of being a mom and being so selfish that I don't get to do what I want. But I don't look at the bigger picture. This is what I want. So I think I'm trying to reframe that and trying to relearn how to just be. So I'm going to clown school and learning how to play with them. I'm going to clown school online. I'm learning how to play with them in the clowniest, silliest ways. And it's like, even just that small little act, like my next project is going on a walk and like pretending everything's new. And I'm gonna go with them and it's gonna be fun and silly. And so I'm just trying to figure that out and get out of the Groundhog Day. So that's kind of like, it's a stay-at-home mom. That's all.
Beautiful, beautiful, yeah. If we're spending our time thinking about tomorrow, guess what? We're not living today. Yeah, we're missing everything that's happening today. All right, a couple quick announcements. On the 24th, which is a Saturday, a week from this Saturday, is our 10th annual chili cook-off. We have 2 categories, vegetarian and meat. So bring your best recipes and get ready for a competition. It's gonna be fierce. And 3 weeks from today is Maddie Minville, our pianist, is going to be doing a piano recital for us right here at 3 o'clock. This is a fundraiser for the church. She sold this as an auction item. It was wildly popular, but there's still tickets available. Tickets are $40. You can buy them at the door, or if you want to buy it in advance, you can just see me after the service and I'll get you taken care of. You're not going to want to miss that. She did this for us last year, and it was amazing. All right, I think it's Joys and Concerns now. Not sure where we're at. Here we go. There we go. Joys and Concerns. Come on up, Jackie. We got plenty of time.
The UUFF needs your generous support. I'm going to be coming to that eventually, but right now I kind of jumped the gun. It's Joys and Concerns. My apologies. I make mistakes sometimes. We have Joys and Concerns, and that means that you're able to stand up and talk about something that's joyful in your heart or a concern that you have. There are individuals in the back who will bring a phone up to you. It's not a phone, what is it called?
Wireless mic.
A wireless mic, right.
Who has a joy and concern?
Right. Who has a joy and concern? Ah, Marcia.
Hey there, Marsha Wilson from the Pastoral Care Team. I have a concern and a joy. I'll start with the concern is for our longtime member, Barbara Deal. She suffered some major medical things and she's got a lot going on. We signed a card for her last night, but if you'd like her address, I will give it to you if you'd like to send your own card. Oh, and Paula is going to have another card today after service. So if you don't want to send your own, you can sign that card to her and just say, thinking of you. And then I have another joy that everyone attended the art show last night, that there's so many people that came for Marion Colson. Her art will be on the wall for just a few more weeks until February 1st. And then Bill Brooks' mom's art, as well as some other local artists, will be on the wall. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
My name is Jang. I have a concern. I have a grandmother who's about 102, and I learned yesterday from my uncle that her health is deteriorating, so she may only have a few weeks to live. So she's in my thoughts.
Thank you.
Elaine Callender here again. In about a week's time, the Community Action and Justice Committee put together an inauguration watch party, which took place here yesterday. I counted 31 people. We had no idea how many people were going to come, but we were set up for a good crowd, and it was really, really nice to be able to sit here. Kit was here, a number of people, enjoy being together in this warm space to watch on our new large screen televisions the inauguration of the first female governor, the first Muslim lieutenant governor in the United States, and the first black attorney general. So it was quite an event. We enjoyed being here together, and that's an example of what you can do if you set a goal and take the baby steps and get there.
Thank you, Elaine.
My name is Ron Cable. Exactly a week after I lost my brother, we lost a person who's been a spiritual mentor to us, who married us 45 years ago. He died of cancer exactly 1 week on Tuesday, and we mourn his passing.
And Marsha Wilson, again, I forgot about myself. I have a lump on my right breast, and I have, it was benign last year, but I'll be getting, the pain came back. So Tuesday, keep me in your Unitarian prayers, because I have a mammogram to see why the pain is so intense.
Okay. I have something I'd like to talk about. If anyone else is not going to be speaking at the moment, I want to secondly congratulate Elaine and her husband for yesterday, because I was one of the 31 that came here, and I'm single, and it was really great to be with people, and we were watching the inauguration, and I was so lifted because I know that I was so happy when she was our congressperson, and I'm very happy that she's our governor. So that was my joy for the day. I'm sure there's other joys out there that might want to pop up. Don't feel shy, just raise your arm. Concerns? Okay, at this moment, let's have a reflection of thoughtfulness and bow our heads. And the music will be played. And anyone who wishes to come up and put a pebble in the container here with thoughts that have not been spoken, please feel free to do so. needs your generous support. If you love this fellowship and want us to be an integral part of making it a success, I encourage you to invest in us. Together we can build a strong, vibrant community of people who love each other and who work to make Fredericksburg a kinder place. If you're not giving on a regular basis, I encourage you to consider becoming a monthly donor. We also have an offering basket in the back for your donations. You can also give by credit card or in line, or see David if you have questions. Please join us, standing if able, in saying our closing words. Let truth be told, let love be lived, let hope be real, let peace be lasting,